horrible story. Those are your headlines this morning.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. In the November general election, Pat Toomey, the Republican, will square off against Joe Sestak, the Democrat, for the Senate job currently held by Arlen Specter. Now, a while back, there was a story out there, hey, Joe Sestak, did the White House offer you a job to drop out? Well, he has admitted yes, but other details, not so much. Listen to this.
Yes or no, straightforward question. Were you offered a job, and what was the job?
I was offered a job, and I answered that.
You said no, you wouldn't take the job. Was it the Secretary of the Navy? Was it the Secretary of the Navy job?
Anything that goes beyond that is for others to talk about. You asked me about my naval experience, that I have a personal accountability I should have for my role in a matter, which I talked about. Beyond that, I'll let others talk about their role.
So you're the only one who knows, sir. There's you and someone at the White House involved in these conversations. You're one of the parties who knows.
I answered the question, and I did, forthrightly, for my personal accountability in that matter.
So what is the harm? What is the harm of you saying, this is the person who called me, and this is what they offered me, so that we can go to that person and get the other end of the conversation?
I've said all I'm going to say on the matter. I have great respect for you. But others need to explain whatever their role might be. I did explain with integrity my role. But thank you very much.
This is going to be a problem for Joe Sestak down the road as he faces this race against Pat Toomey. He's going to have to answer the question. Or somebody at the White House is going to have to answer this question. And maybe the only way this is going to happen is if they're under oath.
Right. So disappointing. This congressman's been honest when he was in single digits with when he was competing against Senator Specter. He's an admiral in the Navy. He was being so forthright, and now he's hedging like nobody's business.
But he had to do that, Brian, though, before, because he had to expose that to have any chance to beat Specter. But now he's going to be under so much pressure to have to expose it. But he doesn't want to, because technically he's on Obama's side, right? He's a Democrat.
Here's David Axelrod saying it's no big deal, nothing illegal here.
These allegations were made, they were looked into, and they were found
but David,
unwarranted. All I know is, well, I've been briefed, as Robert has, that they looked into it, and their conclusion was that it was the conversations were perfectly appropriate. You know, I don't think any questions will be left unanswered on this.
Okay, so you've got Joe Sestak saying, yes, I was offered a job, but you want other details, you're going to have to get it from the others. The others, clearly the White House. Axelrod says, look, we looked over it, and nothing illegal happened. Dick Morris says that is not the case. He said that if Joe Sestak was offered a job to drop out, that is something that the president could get into deep water over. Watch. Hannity, last night.
This scandal could be enormous. It's Valerie Plame, only 10 times bigger, because it's illegal. And Joe Sestak is either lying or the White House committed a crime. He can't have it both ways. Yeah. And he's going to ultimately have to tell us what job, when, and with who. And then the person that offered will have to be asked, did anyone authorize that? Obviously, the offer of a significant job in the White House could not be made unless it was by Rahm Emanuel or cleared with Rahm Emanuel. And equally obviously, the Rahm Emanuel for a cabinet-level job, probably Secretary of the Navy, would have had to clear that with the president. That is a high crime and misdemeanor.
That would be, in other words, an impeachable offense.
Absolutely.
You have to think there's a wicked or not. Senator Specter, if you flip parties and become a Democrat, I'll clear the field for you to give you a shot at Pat Toomey. So all of a sudden, Joe Sestak comes out of nowhere and says, I'm an admiral in the Navy, a successful congressman, I want that job, and would not be, he would not step aside.
Right, and then he had to expose it. He had to expose it because he was so far down in the polls to try and actually beat Specter, which he now did, and now somebody's going to have to come clean.
Well, where would anybody get the idea that somebody in this administration would do a favor for a political crony? You know, job trading, that doesn't happen in Washington. That happens in Chicago.
Right, that's true, which is like the new Washington. It's the new black. 8 minutes after the top of the hour, we have some other